Hailing from the Jersey Shore and raised as athletes, the Airey Bros have always shared a passion for physical culture, athletic performance, and human optimization, always striving to be the strongest versions of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Along the way, they've met some pretty amazing humans and have had some pretty epic adventures. The intention of Airey Bros Radio is to showcase these amazing people and the impact that they've had on them, and to share tips, tricks, and hacks so that you can win each day, every day.
It's hard to talk about this because it's something I just do impulsively now. But just in, spending time with friends, like going out, being social, laughing, seeing movies, like stuff that like a lot of the people in the spiritual space really like kind of poo-poo and say, oh, that's just the mainstream society. It's like, well, sports are fun, like they're not, yeah, there's product placement. Yeah, you could argue they're kind of weapons of mass distraction in some ways, a lot of these things, but at the same time, like there's unity in that. It's just, it's play, it's fun. Just stop analyzing it, just enjoy it, and I think that's what I would like to leave people who want to listen to this from more of that mind, body, spiritual side with, is that it's just a lot of what people, anyone who's trying to tell you need to get somewhere for nirvana or enlightenment is full of shit. You really just need to kind of let go and do what makes you happy, be okay with yourself. And I'm probably going to change some of my answers if you guys talk to me in even just 6 months or a year from now. But I do think that's headed in the right direction, like the bigger picture, the greater purpose.
What up, y'all? This is Airey Bros Radio, and this is episode 26 with Matt Cooper. Grab yourself a notebook and a pen, buckle up, and get ready for this one. You excited for this, Prince?
Yeah, I am so excited for this Matt Cooper episode. Matt was another one of those guests who we had listened to last year around this time. Got all the knowledge that he was putting out on that podcast that we heard him on last year, and then to have him come on and kind of switch his kit up and just talk about growing as a coach and growing as a human and what he's been going through. This is really good podcast, really good conversation.
Yeah, Matt's an incredible human being and an amazing coach, both strength and conditioning and on the nutrition side of things. And just with some of the athletes and people that he's worked with, he's a wealth of knowledge. So we were super cool to have him on and talk. And I think, like you said, we were thinking maybe the conversation would go in one direction, or at least that's originally what we thought. And then it got way more into a lot of the other stuff in terms of, speed of sport, strength and conditioning, and that sort of stuff. And then it's also, Matt has given us some names of some people who else we could reach out to. So super great conversation. Matt's a great dude, and we were lucky to have him on. And again, by the powers of social media and just reaching out to people, it's pretty cool who we can connect to. So really great to have this conversation with Matt. So for all you people that are in there or out there listening for optimization and sport performance and all those sorts of things that you know and love about the Airey Bros, Matt is definitely on another level when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, just his knowledge, his experience, being able to talk on experience, put it into words. Matt's on another level. Anyone that we've had on up to this point on the podcast, and like you just stated, Matt speaks our language. He's all about being your own science experiment and just upping your game, and not always trying to go for optimization, right? Sometimes we just have to be in the muck of things, and that was a point that really hit home hard with me, because it's always about optimization and trying to be the best. And Matt goes into detail about how you can't always live on top of the mountain, how it's just about being right now, and it's not always going to be at peak performance, and being okay with that. And when Matt dived into that and kind of how he has used psychedelics just to be right now and not, practice using them as much and kind of doing more of the back end thing, it's really, really interesting and just a different perspective than what we're used to.
Yeah, and I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I know kind of for the both of us, it's always been that, striving to be happier, striving to be more positive. And the more we talk to a lot of these people, the more it's comforting to me to realize that it's not always about unicorns and rainbows and puppy dogs and ice creams. And some days, even the happiest people have down days for whatever it may be. And it's just a matter of acknowledging that and sitting in it and being okay with it and maybe leaning into it a little bit and just knowing that, yeah, some days it's not going to be 65 and sunny with 0 wind at the top of a peak at 14,000 feet. Some days it's going to be a shitstorm and it's going to be 28 degrees and snowy, and you just stepped in a puddle and you forgot to wear your boots because it was beautiful when you walked out. Whatever. I'm rambling a little bit, but the point is that the more and more we talk to these people about leveling up and doing these things, the more and more comforting it is to be aware and to know that, yeah, not every day is going to be perfect. You're not always going to be happy, and it's okay to be that. It's about acknowledging it and sitting with it, breathing into it, maybe turning it around because it's some external thing. But some days it's just like, all right, I enjoyed a couple minutes of mouth pleasure last night, and now I have to handle the repercussions or whatever it may be. It's not the end of the world. The sky isn't falling. This is going to pass. Drink a little bit more water, fast for the rest of the day, whatever it may be. But for me, talking more and more about these sorts of topics is really good for me because, like I said, it's reassuring to know that not every day is going to be perfect, and that's okay. That's part of the human experience.
Yeah, and to have, certain practices to kind of help you counteract that stuff, but not to, as we've had a couple guests say, spiritually bypass something or just, meditate into an oblivion and kind of push everything aside and just, you have those practices, but some days you just got to sit in the muck and be okay with the muck because at the end of the day, this is life and that's part of life. And, it was really good to have Matt on here and kind of just bro out with another bro who's into the same stuff and was super open and transparent with us. Is something that I really appreciate about this interview.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. This is a great episode with Matt Cooper. You can check him out at Rewire Performance. I'll put all his good stuff in the show notes, but like I said, grab yourself a pen and paper because you're going to want to write some stuff down. Check out his website. I'll put that stuff in the show notes, but sit back, relax, enjoy today's episode of Airey Bros Radio with Matt Cooper. Much love. Namaste from the boys of 1512. All right, we're here with Matt Cooper. Matt, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We are super psyched to have you on and get into some of the stuff that you've been working on and the information you've been putting out there. When we first discovered you, a lot of the content that we were looking at really resonated with some of the things that we've been doing with our own training and performance and racing and stuff like that. So welcome. Super stoked to have you on. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you guys, just wanting to reach out and wanting to have me on the show in the first place. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Like I said, we have people that know us and follow us and know us from the athletic side of things. And then some of these more kind of woo-woo things that we've been getting into the last couple of years. People may not necessarily take our word for it, so we're trying to bring as many knowledgeable people with their information so that we can open up some doors for some other people and not just think that we're these crazy, wacky hippies that moved from New Jersey to live in Colorado, and that there is some science behind this stuff, and there are other people out there that are doing this. So really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to kind of give the people on who you are and kind of what brought you to the game, just give us a little bit of your background and how you kind of got into studying and practicing what you're doing at the present moment.
Yeah, so basically the long and short of it is on the fitness, nutrition, training side. I got into that because in college I started doing it after high school, I started doing it for personal benefit, and you know, what eventually became research started as me-search. And I found out that I was really passionate about it, and I started helping people that way. And then that actually sort of continued with the same story arc of my own personal evolution. And by that I mean, when I was in my early to mid-20s, I actually became really sick following a lot of mainstream health and fitness advice. And so I had to learn about a lot of alternative means of living my life, personal development, a lot of these like tools of the mind body. And on top of that, you know, things like functional medicine, preventative health, physiology, this word's kind of been commoditized, but biohacking in a way, you know. And so when I learned about a lot of this, I was able to kind of rework like my own physiology, my own life in many ways, honestly. And I also found out around that time, when I changed how I was like living and eating, it was almost like I had a new lease on life, because I no longer was like having as much trouble like looking people in the eyes and having a lot of like social dynamic interactions and whatnot. And I kind of realized that I almost like lived, you know, 2/3, 3/4 of my life, like almost quasi like on the spectrum somehow, on that like OCD, ADHD, kind of autism spectrum somehow. And it was like, when I was able to change a lot of my personal development habits and like actual like the food I was feeding myself, it was like, oh shit, like this is a, can I curse?
Yeah, you're good.
Let it rip.
Let it rip. Yeah, fully automatic now. It was like a new lease on life, and I'm like, wow, like there really is an intersection of what we put in our bodies, health, emotions, you know, and physiology and thoughts, and just like kind of how you present in this world, and your ability to really self-author your own journey, right? And you can extrapolate that into like nuances, like I know you guys want to later, like athletic performance, all the way down to just looking at how some people kind of are the way they are, and certain behavioral dynamics and whatnot. And you can kind of almost see, if you know the physiology, like biochemical imbalances that are making them that way. I mean, it's an and both, plus and more situation. It's never just one or just the other. But anyways, my own journey got me there. And so it's like, okay, well, if I can kind of unite these boot camps of holistic health and functional medicine with strength and conditioning and sports science, I can have all my loves and at the same time help other people. So it's, you know, it's all just my 2 cents from the cheap seats at the end of the day. But that's how, why, what.
I express to my athletes all the time that you are your own science experiment, and what works for me may not necessarily work for you, and vice versa, and you have to kind of figure those things out on your own. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to what you're putting in your body first and foremost. And you know, you can have all these athletic goals and all these aspirations, but if you're not working in and doing the right things on that end, you're kind of just pissing in the wind with your athletic endeavors, because you have to do the work internally, be it mindfulness, gratitude, and then just the clean, healthy, you know, kind of farm to table type of nutrition, be it paleo, be it keto, be it vegan, plant-based, whatever you want to call it. That's where it all starts. And if you're not really willing to commit to those things, you should probably rethink your athletic goals first and foremost.
A lot of times people want to focus on training and put all their emphasis there, and then they don't necessarily focus on the aspects of what makes you adapt to the training to ultimately become better, to become stronger, to become faster, you know, more explosive, more resilient, or more fit, you know, whatever level you're playing at.
Yeah, there's more that goes into training than what you do in the gym, right? You have an hour in the gym, and then you have the other 23 to fuck it all up. That's kind of always how I saw it. You said,
and I
go ahead.
I get a lot of the sort of classic old school people from the gym tend to dismiss a lot of the recovery side and working in, as you put it, and all these things around the workout that help you adapt to the workout. Because there are a lot of people in the space who just sort of like, it's almost the way they talk, it's almost like they want to turn people into these like grown-up sized Care Bears. And that's, so